Welcome back. I'm Larry. So tonight we're working on my 351 Cleveland, so let's jump into it and take a look at what we got. So as you can see, we are installing the rocker arms tonight. So I'm going to show you how I install the roller rockers, how to prep them, and how I adjust the valves, and how to do this with success. So now I will say that the way I adjust them, this will get the engine running. But once everything starts running and wearing in, it is important to come back and readjust your valves again after it's been run some and it's been after the braking procedure. You want to come back with the engine running and readjust all the valves the proper way with listening, backing off till they start tapping and then tighten them down until they stop and then give half a turn and lock them down. But this right here will set it up to where it will start up and run and get you going. So once you got the push rods installed, that's self-explanatory. And I gotta say, on these heads, like them guide plates are really tight. There's not much room at all for the push rod to move, which is good. You want it nice and tight so it holds that rocker arm straight, so that's good. I take my rocker arm and I apply some assembly lube, but you can use that driven grease, but it's harder to get in here and all. This right here is more of a liquid. It'll run down in the cracks and all. So that's why I'm using it. But I'll put some down in here on each side like that, and then I'll flip it over and apply some like that, and then of course in the cup for the push rod, and then in each side where the wheel is, and up in here as well. Now another thing to keep in mind is when you're installing this, make sure that if you look in here, you see how it's kind of flat on one side here, and then on the other side it's like it's rounded. Well, this is how you want it to go. You want the rounded side facing down and the square side facing up, so then when you put the nut in here, it's a good flat surface for it to press against to lock down. I got my fresh bottle of lube. We're gonna do it the same way. Lube it up in there like that. And if you want, you could even twist this around if you wanted to. It ain't necessary, you don't have to do it that way. I just do it like this. And then that's good to go. And if you ever second guess yourself, you can still look in here after they're installed and see the square side facing up. If you ever want to double check to make sure you put them in right, so you'll know if you put them up the right way. All right, so now the rocker arms are installed. We're gonna get ready to adjust these. All right, once our rocker arms are installed and setting good, we take our nuts now, like the lock nut out just a little bit and make sure I got plenty of room. And we're gonna go ahead and start threading the nuts down to get them started. At this point, you don't want to run them down or anything. You just want to start them is all you want to do. Really, you could just do that right there just to get it started, but I like to run them on down a little bit. All right, so we're going to watch these two lifters here. So here's the way I do it. A lot of times they say you need to be at exact top dead center. You don't have to be exactly at top dead center on every single cylinder. The way I do it now, this could vary depending on your cam. If you have an extremely radical cam, this might not work exactly right. But my cam is not bigger than stock, but it's not a huge cam. So this will work fine for my application. So what I'll do is I'll turn the engine over and I'll watch. See, it just moved. We're gonna watch both of these come up and go back down. And there's gonna be a point where they're idle, where I'm still turning the engine slowly, neither one of them are moving. As long as I'm turning the engine and neither one are moving, we know that we're on the back side of the lobe, and it's going to be good to adjust these on. So I actually already was good, so I'm gonna back up just to show you for an example. All right, because the way I do is I do my cylinders in a row. I don't jump back and forth. I will do 1, 2, 3, 4, then come to this side, and usually do 5, 6, 7, 8. But in this case, I wanted to show this one last, so I ended up doing 8 forward on this side. But anyway, we're gonna watch it now. Watch that lifter go down. He's going down. And now this one's about to come up. And we're gonna watch it go down. Turn it slowly. And once it stops moving, give a little turn, and you can see neither one of them moved. Even after turning it just a little bit, neither one of them moved. So now we're good. Okay, so when you're dealing with a new engine like this one, right, these lifters are brand new. They are not pumped up. So the way that I found is the best way to do this is we're going to sit here, you see how we have play. We can move that push rod up and down on both of them. We have looseness in there. We don't want that, right? You got to have preload on hydraulic lifters. Now, if it was a solid lifter, then you'd have to actually have lash, and that would be putting a filler gauge underneath the rocker arm here and torque and moving this down, tightening it down until you get the right lash. These are hydraulic, so we need preload. And you could tell because I can still push on it like that. And these are already adjusted, so you see again, and that's another way to know if it's adjusted right, is you want to be able to push down on it when they're in a relaxed state. Even when they have preload, you want to be able to push on it. This one I can't move because it's already up and it's got tension on it. So since it's not pumped up, it's kind of bottomed out because it's under pressure. So that's what I'm saying. These are not pumped up, so you can't necessarily adjust these by the old way of, you can, I've done it that way and I've had success too, but you could potentially have too much preload on it, you know, and on a new engine, you're a little bit better to be a little bit more on the loose side, and you can always tighten it up. So we have looseness. I will take and I will turn this nut. I'll keep moving it up and down. I'll turn this nut until it goes away, and I start to feel tension on the nut with my fingers, and I'll give just a little turn like that. Then I'll give half a turn on the wrench, just like that. Now the preload is set on this. We know it's good to go. You can come in here and you can lock your lock nut down. And this is important. You don't want to crank down on this. It's not holding the engine together, but you do want it tight so then it does not back off. You just want to give it good and tight, and then the nut can't move, and that one's locked down. Now we're gonna do the same thing for this one. Move it until I feel tension on the nut, give a little turn. And then half a turn, and lock your lock nut down. And now see we have preload, and we can still move this. We can still push them both, and that's what you want. As long as you can do that, then you're fine, and that's what you want. You don't want them bottomed out, because then when they do get oil pressure and they start pumping up, you're going to have too much preload, and that could potentially be an issue. So these are good now. You can fire this engine up, it will run, and it will get you through the braking procedure, get the engine running, and then once it's running and it's warmed up and you ran it some, you can come back while the engine's running and adjust each one while the engine's running and get it set actually like properly. But this will get it running, and technically you probably don't even have to come back and readjust them. You could run it like this and it'd be fine. But I always recommend going back afterward and just running through them while it's running, just because then it's more of an accurate adjustment. So. All right, and that concludes that. That is a simple, easy way to adjust your valves, and this works on any hydraulic setup. It don't matter if it's a flat tappet, if it's a roller, any hydraulic lifter setup, this will work for. And that's a good, easy way to know if you have enough, because like I said, you got to be careful not to collapse this lifter when you're adjusting, because they're not pumped up. They're easier to push down. If they're pumped up, then you can do the old way of twisting this while you tighten it down and get the feel for it. And even now, like when I spin this, it has tension under it. It does have pressure under it, so that's a good way to make sure that you don't over torque it, put too much preload, but while still having enough. Now, if you have a radical cam, because I had stated that this might not work as far as turning the engine until you see them go up and down, because depending on your cam profile and layout, it's possible that by the time the next one comes down, the next one could just barely start to come up. So in that case, if you have a radical cam and it's doing that, I would then suggest just going one at a time, like bring it up, like for this one example, we'll bring it up, watch it come up, watch it come back down, and while you're turning the engine slowly, just very slowly, on the breaker bar, watch it when it comes down and it sits idle for a couple inches on the the breaker bar while you're turning the engine. As long as that's sitting idle, you can adjust that one. Then you can go to the other one and adjust it. Obviously, you know, because this is in the way, I'm trying to get a better camera angle. But I would start with this one first, then do that one. But that's the way I would do it. I would watch it like this one. Okay, I'd watch it come up, go idle, sit there, adjust it. Watch this one come up, go back down, sit idle, adjust it. And then that's the way I would do each one individually. But like I said, on my cam profile, this isn't a very big cam. It is bigger than stock, has more lift, more duration, but it's not a radical cam. It'll have a nice little tone to it, but it's nothing super serious to where I'm gonna have an issue with that. So that's how that is done, and that is quick and easy, and anybody can do it at home. I hope that I explained that well, and I hope this helps. Also, I wanted to mention that I did half a turn on these. It's really up to you what you want to do. You can do, I've heard people doing a quarter turn, half a turn, 3/4 turn. It really doesn't matter that much, honestly. There's a little bit of variance there. You could kind of technically say, I guess I did a kind of a 3/4 turn, because remember, if you remember correctly, I said as you're moving the push rod up and down, taking the slack out as you're turning the nut, as soon as I felt resistance on it, I'd give it just a little turn. Once I felt resistance on the nut, just give it a quick little turn. So maybe it's about a quarter turn that I give it. So technically, I guess each one has like a 3/4 turn, but half, 3/4, you can do whatever you want. But that's just the way I do it. And like I said, you do it this way, it'll work. All right, guys, I just wanted to run through that real quick. That's a real quick, short little video of just doing that. Obviously, I didn't show each and every one because it's just boring. It's the same process over and over and over again. Plus, I like to be more dialed in and focused when I'm doing it, and I can just shoot the video. That's one reason why you'll see me a lot of time do everything and then show like the last one if I have multiple to do. If it's something that I can only do one time, then obviously I can just shoot it that one time, or I might practice and then come back and shoot it. But I like to do that. It gives me the feel of it and gets me in practice. So then by the time I get to the last one, I can explain it better. So, but like I said, very simple, and this will work. It doesn't matter, Ford, Chevy, Dodge, any hydraulic setup, that'll get you running and get you to where you can, let's say, get your braking procedure, get it tuned and all that. Then you can come back. And like I said, as long as it ain't tapping when it's running, you can run it like this for the first 1,000 miles if you want to, and then come back. It's really up to you. Just after you get past that braking procedure, it's up to you when you want to come back and readjust it. But I do recommend readjusting the valves while it's running, just because it's better. You can actually listen to it and get a better feel for it, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, like I said, easy. I hope that helps. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. You can now become a member. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the drop box down below. And that's all there is for this one. So until next time, I'll see you on the next one. Take care.